Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsea. Today I'm excited to be sharing with you these beautiful cards I've made as part of the Global Stampin Video Hop. Make sure to keep hopping around to see what everyone has made after this video by clicking on the link to the next video in the description below. This month we are sharing projects that use products from both the SALE-A-BRATION catalog and the January through April mini catalog. I made these cards with the In the Country stamp set. This one is a SALE-A-BRATION item. And then the Queen Bee bundle and the By the Bay Designer Series paper. And these two items are from the mini catalog. And the By the Bay Designer Series paper has more of an ocean side feeling to them. However, I really love the colors, and so I used the two of the patterns, and there's more patterns that you can choose from, but I chose two of them to be that background element on my cards. The cards that I am creating today have a fun technique with watercolor pencils, making it easy to add white details to colored cardstock. And then don't forget to keep hopping around to see what everyone has made by clicking on the link in the next video below, and you can do that after this video is over. So let's go ahead and begin stamping. I'm going to be recreating this crumb cake card, but you can see here that I'm using similar elements for my second card. I've just changed the background image, and that image is this one from the In the Country stamp set. And today I'm going to be doing this one with kind of the mountain road instead of the villa image. So I'm also going to be using StazOn ink for all of my stamping today because we're going to be using some water and we don't want our ink to bleed. So I've got a piece of crumb cake cardstock here, and it is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4. And I've inked up my image and stamped it just a little above center. Then on a piece of crumb cake that is 2 inches by about 5 inches, I'm inking up this floral image as well in StazOn. And this is the image that's from the Queen Bee stamp set. And then on some white paper, I am going to stamp my greeting. And I decided I wanted my greeting to be just nice and simple. So I've chosen Hello. And this came from the Happy Label stamp set. But you could use any of the greetings from the Queen Bee or another stamp set that you have. The next step is to color our floral image. And I've got my watercolor pencils. I've got white, garden green, and daffodil delight. And we're going to begin with the white. And I'm adding that to the petals on this image. And I've got a cup of water here. And you can go ahead and just color right over your image. And it's going to give you a nice light white. But if you want that white to be brighter, you can dip it into some water and then color. And that's going to activate that watercolor element of your pencils. And you're going to get a brighter white. Let me see if I can show you a close-up of how much brighter your white can be. Now it might feel like you're covering up those details, but as that water evaporates and it dries up, you will see those details coming through again. So I did this first petal, this top petal, by just coloring onto the cardstock. And then the other 3 petals I did after I dipped the tip of my pencil in some water. And so you can see the difference there. I think adding just that little bit of water really makes that white pop from the darker cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that for all of my flowers. Okay, so there's a close-up of those beautiful white flowers on my crumb cake cardstock. So then for your garden green, you can go ahead and color this with or without water. Because the garden green is darker than my crumb cake cardstock, I can easily do this without water and it shows up nicely. If you need it to be a little darker, you can go ahead and dip it in water and do the same technique that we did for the flowers. All right, so now we've got the green leaves. Next, we're going to add a little yellow center to the flowers. And I do like to do this with a little bit of water on the tip, just because it's going to just brighten up that yellow so we can see it over that white. So just in the center of these open flowers, go ahead and add just a little bit of yellow. There we go. So we'll just let that take a minute to dry, and then we're going to cut that out with the coordinating die. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut out that floral stamp with the coordinating die. I've also cut out 4 little flowers, 2 large, 2 small, from some basic white cardstock, and then 2 of the leaves in garden green cardstock. And then I've also cut out my hello with a label die that is also part of the Queen Bee dies, which bundles nicely with the Queen Bee stamp set. I've got my card base of thick basic white cardstock, and on top of that I'm going to add this boardwalk distressed wood grain piece. This again comes from that designer series paper, and you just find some patterns and colors that you like, even if maybe the theme of the paper is different than the theme you're going for with your card. So I really liked kind of this distressed wood look. I thought it went nicely with the image that we stamped here, kind of that fence and road. And we're going to go ahead and off to this side. We're not going to add this to the card yet. So the next thing we're going to do is wrap some ribbon around the bottom half of this crumb cake piece. And I've got, this is the burlap ribbon, and it comes from the Real Red and Burlap Ribbon Combo Pack. We want that on the left side. So make sure to put those ends together. So this piece is about 12 inches in length, and if you need a little bit more, you can always add a little more length to the ribbon if it's easier for you. So we're just tying a knot here on this side. So you'll get something like that. And you want it a little lower than the bottom of that image. So somewhere about there is good. And then you can add this to your card base. And I'm just going to add some dimensionals. And then you want this to be to the right of your card base. So something like that. Let's go ahead and we're going to add our floral image next. And this is popped up with dimensionals as well. And then that just goes to this side here. So there's a little opening right there, and that's where I'm going to add the knot. Okay. And then we're going to add our greeting next. And this also has dimensionals. And you're just going to slide that underneath your flowers. And you want it to just go a little bit over the top of that ribbon. So you'll get something that looks like this. So next we're going to add our flowers and leaves to our card, but I want to mimic the look that we've gotten with the white flowers on our stamp. And so I'm just going to take my Daffodil Delight and lightly add a little yellow center to these flowers here. So then I've taken those die cuts and added them to some glue dots, and I'm just going to tuck them in and around my images. So I'm going to place this first leaf kind of here in this opening between the greeting. So maybe something like that. And then this one I want to kind of actually add to the back on this side. And then take some of the flowers. I'll take a small one. And I think I'm going to add this larger one back here behind over that leaf a little bit. And then this one I'll add kind of down here at the bottom. Those are just kind of some little accent pieces. The main focus is still this larger floral element there. And then I'm going to take my ribbon scissors, which are nice and sharp, and trim the ends of my ribbon. And then the last thing I want to add is just a little bit of splatters. So I've got my Whisper White ink here, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the back of my dimensional paper. This is the dimensional paper I was using, so I'm almost done with it. I've added just a little dot of ink, mix that with a little bit of water to loosen it up a little bit, and then you can tap that. Oh, that's really wet. Let's see, there we go. Tap those little white splatters over my paper and my cards. There we go. And this is another reason why we used Stays On here, so that if we get any big drops of water that they don't make that bleed at all. And we can just let that dry, and then our card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create this fun card today. Please remember to jump around and see what everyone has created today by using the link to the next video in the description below. If you are interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.